Have you ever asked yourself any of these questions? Why do I live in this world? What's the purpose of life? What's my role in this world? There are a lot of difficult existential questions, burning questions, but where do we get the answers? In my teenage years, I really loved reading books on psychology and even some spiritual stuff. I struggled trying to find a higher purpose for living. I really needed to find it at that time. And so I asked everyone what their purpose of life was. The answers were quite different, but usually fell into one of these categories: to be happy, or to change the world, or to experience maximum pleasure, or just to live because there is no purpose, no special goal. And the most disappointing and at the same time the most liberating answer to the meaning of life is the one saying that there is no special meaning. On one side, saying life is meaningless might sound depressive. If there is no meaning to life, why do I even need to live then? But on the other side, it means that you can invent your own purpose. You're not bound to anything. You're free to be your own master, your own designer of life. To be honest, depending on my mood, I still flip between seeing either one or another side of this coin. When things don't go well, it's really easy to slip into thinking how meaningless everything is. It's interesting that as the time passed, my desire to explore questions of meaning and happiness faded. It's not that I stopped being interested in them, it's just that at that point I spent so many years searching for answers that I decided there are no answers. It was exhausting chasing something so ethereal, not feeling that you're getting any closer to uncovering the truth. Also, after graduating my university and joining the office workforce, my brain got preoccupied with other questions, like what shall I do to feel fulfilled? Why does the world work this way? Why do politics, power, and wealth always suppress less fortunate? Why all the injustice? But if you can imagine, I couldn't find good explanations to these problems either. At one point, I met my partner and his views changed the way I approach these problems. The thing is, he never asks himself these painful questions because he decided for himself. If something doesn't have an answer, there is no need to waste your mental energy on it. In turn, it gives him confidence in every step he does, because he directs all of his energy into things he knows he can solve or change, into things that are in his control. For him, this life has no purpose in the most positive way. It means freedom for him. It means he can go after any dream he has. In the end, it's only up to him to decide whether his life is successful, whether his life is meaningful or not. If you read books or listen to famous speakers or life coaches in the hope to make your life more meaningful, I want you to think about this. How many times have you read something and thought to yourself, I knew it, this is exactly what I suspected. My intuition always pointed in this direction. It probably happened to you quite often. We hear or read something and usually we already knew it deep inside. Especially in the area of self-help books, it is very common. These books can be a good reminder of certain things, but don't underestimate yourself, your own experience. More often than not, you already have the answers to your questions about meaning, purpose, and happiness. In the end, those books were written by other people just like you. They're not some sort of prophets. The thing is, those answers to the happiness are nothing magical. We are always fooling ourselves, thinking that maybe someone else has found a silver bullet that will solve our problems. There is nothing wrong in trying to find answers in books or lectures, but usually they just help us to look deeper inside of ourselves. They are like mirrors. They help us see our reflections in them. So next time when you go out seeking for a life advice, remember that you can find a lot of answers inside of yourself. It might require you to take quite a journey inside of your mind, but along the way, you might even learn something new about yourself. And it's okay to ask others for advice. Just keep in mind that even if you ask the same question different people, you'll get different answers. Each one of us has their own life experience, preferences, opinions, and views. And in the end, only you will know what suits you best. Trust your inner voice. Often it can guide you better than any book you've read. I came to realize that I actually have been able to find answers to many of my questions deep inside of me rather than somewhere externally. Trust yourself, trust your inner voice. Often it can guide you better than any book you've read. That's it for today. Thank you for joining me. I'm Riya and I'll talk to you next time.
de आपला बिझनेस